Hello, my name is Johan Falk. I work at NodeOne Scandinavia. The previous three screencasts I have been talking too much and it has been taking too much time, so I'm starting a timer now at 9 minutes and I hope I can keep this time. If it starts beeping, I will finish this screencast pretty quickly. So this is screencast number 4, where we learn about the rules module, the rules framework for Drupal, the awesome CMS framework. Before moving along, this is NodeOne.se. Here's the Learn Drupal library. It's pretty cool. You probably heard this before, and here's the book. You've probably seen that before as well. Right. So here is the sandbox site we're working with. In this episode, well, we have been making some sandbox rules configuration, not really anything really sensible. In a few screencasts we'll probably look at more useful examples, but not right now. In this screencast I will show you some of the events, conditions and actions available in rules, just discussing them briefly, and also discuss a bit about loading objects into rules, which is pretty interesting. Alright, here is the example rule we made in previous screencast, acting on article save. When some piece of content is saved and it's an article, then something happens here. We can, well, let's start by having a look at the actions available in rules in a standard installation. Quite a few of them. The actions are the most numerous ones in rules. I would say they're the most common plugin. The most general ones you usually find under the data group. Well, they are highly flexible. You can add new content or new variables to your rule, like a new list, for example, which you can then populate. And there are a few actions here to manipulate lists. Calculate value allows you to use the 4 basic operators to produce some kind of new value. Set the data value we have already seen. Devel debug value, that's from the devel module, I suppose. Probably implemented by rules, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it just DPMs a variable that you give it. The rest, well, most of the rest are simply entity-related stuff. Rules can manipulate entities in a quite general way, so you can fetch, create, delete, save entities by properties. If you have an entity, rules can manage that. Fetch by property is pretty interesting. Let's have a small look at this, a quick look at it. Entity type, say if I want to load a node, then rules reads out through entity API what kind of identifiers we have for nodes, and we have, well, a number of properties that we can search by, and we'll set the property of the value being that we want to fetch, like get all the stuff from onto the front page. I think this might update if I no, okay. So this is probably a true-false thing, a 1-0 thing that we should enter here. Who knows? Huh. All right, and we get a list of the results, which is pretty interesting. We get a nice list. This is like a very quick fetch with views thing. Get a views list of entities. There are actions available to actually use views to load objects into rules. Those are found in, for example, the rules bonus pack, but they are being moved at this very moment to views bulk operations, which is a really neat module, which we will have a look at pretty far down in the list of screencasts in this series. Yeah, and you get a list, so you should provide it with a name. Moving along. More actions. Nodes have their own actions declared. These could probably be used just by using the set data value property, most of these, but some of them are provided explicitly to make them more easy to use. path is pretty interesting. I made, well, one of the sites we built at NodeOne, we used this to create customized URL aliases for views. Views wants, well, it's good to use node IDs if you, in the path if you use views, but it's not very pretty to have them in the URL. So we used rules to create extra URL aliases whenever we created a node. That's pretty complex. If you didn't get all that, that's quite okay. I didn't explain it very well. If you got it, hopefully you think it's pretty cool. I did. Yeah, system stuff. Page redirect are pretty useful. There is an extra option that forces the redirect immediately, which may or may not hold some other execution things in Drupal. So use that with care. Set breadcrumb, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and some user stuff here as well. Alright, so that's actions, a quick overview. Conditions, we have the general ones up in data. As we've seen previously, data comparison and text comparison seem a bit similar, but the text comparison also have more complex operators like contains or starts with, stuff like that. While data comparison is, as far as I know, only equal or not equal. Data value is empty, very useful if you have complex fields with stuff in them, because it's pretty difficult to make a data comparison towards a file field and require the field to be empty or something. Then this is much more easy to use. A list condition here as well. Entity has field, content is of type. Very good things if you want to access fields in your entities. Yes. Not much more to say about these conditions. Going back, oh, maybe I should show you this. I'm just gonna add a data comparison here to browse through the data selectors. Here we have on node save, we have both the saved content and the unchanged content right now. Alright, going back here. We have events here. If I add event, these are highly entity related, as rules is out of the box. We have like view, delete, save, update, things for all content or all entity types. So for comments, for nodes, for taxonomy terms and vocabularies, for users. And then we have some system stuff here as well. Cron stuff, you probably don't want to use this. You probably want to use rule scheduler instead. That will cover, well, far down in the screencast series. Drupal is initializing is a pretty interesting thing if you want to have rules act on every page load. That could potentially be quite heavy, so only use that if you know what you're doing. Note here that we can add several events to one rule. We have right now saving content, and now I'm adding after saving new content. Add. Now we have before saving content, when regardless of if it's new or not. Now I add it after saving new content. Now look at this. I have about 40 seconds left. That might work. If I add a condition in this data comparison just to browse the available data, we don't have the unsaved node available anymore because the new node is created event does not provide the unsaved node object. And it wouldn't make sense to configure actions or conditions that require this unsaved node, so rules just hides it from you. That's pretty good to know sometimes, because sometimes you want to have several events for the same rule, the same conditions and actions. Oh, kind of time. And when you have that, your available data is limited to the data available provided by all these events, because these events provide data to you, and that's kind of essential when using rules. You get data from the events, you can also load them in one way or another with actions. Right, I guess that's it actually. Pretty dense screencast this time, but just a quick safari of the plugins available to rules in terms of events, conditions and actions. Right, I'll see you in the next screencast, then we'll talk about combining conditions. That'll be interesting. See you there.